Hello and welcome to Journey Forward podcast. Today I'm going to be interviewing Jamie. For full disclosure, she is my life partner, my better half, and she is a teacher here in Siem Reap. Today we're in the Enjoy Boutique Hotel. It's where we're conducting this. And without further ado, Jamie, do you like to introduce yourself and just give us an idea of how long you've been working here, what you've been doing?
Sure. Yeah, I've been here 5 years since 2020. I've taught at two international schools here as well as online. I've taught grades and ages from preschool all the way up till grade 2, but I've also taught teenagers on the side doing part-time work. And online, I taught students from Tokyo, from Taiwan, students in China as well. A lot of teaching experience, a lot of different curriculums, books, websites, basically just a teacher. Yeah, I landed here when I was just going on 20 years old, and I will be 25 this year. So it's been quite the ride in age now.
What's the main sort of subject and demographic age group you teach right now?
Well, right now I'm teaching grade 1, my full-time job, and I'm teaching it's whole English as a second language, or to abbreviate ESL. I am doing grade 1, like I said, English. I teach maths, and I teach science, as well as a new subject that was introduced called entrepreneurship, an introduction to entrepreneurship. My age is from 6 to 8 years old, and I'd say relatively the correct level English for my classroom, but I do every year get introduced to have taught students that are maybe not of appropriate level, but there's always ways and means to go about teaching them. And then my part-time work is I teach headway. From my biggest class was 31 students, an hour and a half a night. Youngest was 8, oldest was 21. Yeah.
So, as you're aware, I'm an AI consultant, and I do everything in the world. And this podcast, this particular thing, is AI centric. So, first thing I want to ask you is the big elephant in the room. Very quick, easy yes or no answer. Are you afraid, as a teacher, that you are going to be replaced by AI? Do you have a fear of it, or something else, or not?
Perhaps I'm a little bit biased because I was afraid of AI in the beginning, before I met you and before I realized how much AI is capable of. But now AI is my best friend, especially for my part-time work.
Well, let's go back then to that first. So before you met me, before we got to know each other, before I introduced you to AI, what was your framing for AI in regards to teaching?
So I did encounter a little bit of AI when I worked in Vietnam in 2019, before I came to Cambodia. So I was in Vietnam for 2.5 months, and I was teaching with, I don't know if it was AI or if it was just an IT fancy whiteboard, basically no markers teaching, just like pressing buttons and teaching like that. So my initial introduction into computers and teaching and AI and teaching was not a very positive one, because it kind of made me feel redundant. And I guess going forward, I never really looked into AI, using it for teaching or lesson plans or anything. So I was a bit adverse to it. I already was like, I don't think this is useful. I don't know how to use it. I was a bit afraid of it. Still am.
Did you have the belief or the worry that it would replace teachers altogether?
Not up until recently, no.
Right.
Yeah.
You do have that now.
Little bit.
Really?
Yeah.
Even after having to get to know AI?
Maybe still a little bit.
Yeah.
It's it's difficult to say a black and white yes or no, because it's useful in teaching. I think that it depends on the age of the student as well. We have spoken about this briefly when we discussed the interview. In that I don't think AI could work for the younger kids as much as it perhaps for older students, teens, it's a little bit easier, but for younger children, especially from.
But this then goes into this idea of AI as a teacher versus AI as a teacher's assistant?
I see what you mean. I think for specifically perhaps homeschool, if we look at homeschool for a second, um, from as a teacher or as a teacher's assistant, homeschool could definitely work as a teacher, but I also think that a parental or an adult presence is needed. But perhaps in a smaller homeschool setting, 3 or 4, max 6 students, AI could be the primary educator. Whereas in a regular school system where you have a classroom of 15 to 24, some schools have 30, as an assistant, it's better. So it depends on how you're looking at it. So if we look from a homeschool perspective, I think it would be okay for AI. Well, not okay,
Useful.
more useful in a homeschool, a smaller setting where it's less um, extremely structured, extremely like curriculum based, and more.
And perhaps where the teacher being a parent who might not necessarily have teaching qualifications, teaching experience, can lean into AI in order to help AI assist them with which directions to go,
Exactly.
how to structure lessons.
Yeah, because it's very difficult to come in. Like I said, I was 19, running around, just finished high school when I started teaching. And I think that if I had someone, I had few, call them mentors, older teachers, and by older, I mean more experienced, sometimes much older than I. I think that if I'd had that little virtual assistant, just check my phone quickly. Oh, that's a cool idea. Use that. I think that that would have helped a lot. So on the, I agree with you there that as an assistant, it's really, really useful, and it would be really useful, especially understanding specifically grammar. You have to teach grammar. It's so hard when you just have a book in front of you and it's not making sense. And you can't just quickly ask a book, can you simplify this in a way that I understand, and can simply teach it? Whereas if you have AI, you have, for instance, present perfect, which is something I was struggling to teach in the beginning, the difference between present perfect and past perfect. And it's difficult to get that across to second language students who are thinking in
different grammatical structure,
different language, because you're literally speaking to their brain in a language that they're not thinking in. So you have to simplify it. And as I said, books don't do that, no matter how they structure it. But an AI can really, really help you with that. And it's quick and it's fast and it's efficient.
What was the first moment you began to realize the full power and potential of AI within assisting you as a teacher?
Wow.
What was the first aha moment?
When I used it for grammar. So I remember I opened the headway. I was doing still for intermediate. They've moved on to advanced now. And we were starting with, it was present perfect. Yeah. And I was like, I have no idea. And my brother-in-law slash colleague, Mitch, said, use ChatGPT. ChatGPT, come on, and I did. And I was like, then I had 30 minutes before the class, and I was like, I understand. Like, I'm getting it. I'm understanding. And then that same night after, I remember laying there and I was playing with it and like seeing what it's capable of. And I was like, this is amazing. And it's just ChatGPT, nothing.
That was the free version. That was just the standard free version you get on a phone.
Version I still have. And I'm considering, like I've asked you to help me, we figured out finding an AI that's specifically for education, which I think would be absolutely amazing.
Training one specifically for that.
Oh, yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, training an AI to work with teachers. I think it would benefit us a lot.
So I remember when one thing that you were very impressed by when you turned around to me and you said, "Oh, I've got like 100 and something tests to mark," and I said, "Well, send me a picture of 5 of the tests and send me the rubric of the answers, what the correct answers were," and I just got GPT to look at the pictures, the photographs of the tests, and to mark them, and they all came out 100% accurately marked.
Yeah, because I remember at that point also I was still a little bit
wary.
I was very wary. I was like, I don't think this is gonna work. So I sneakily, I remember we were at work and I had a free hour. Yeah, and we discussed doing it the night before. So I took the test and I marked them quickly while you were busy with the AI. The AI took maybe like 10 minutes, 15 minutes to mark all 5. Not even. And then I had finished probably twice that amount of time took me to mark tests accurate 100%.
Mhm.
And I was 50-50 on it.
Mhm.
And from that, seeing what it was capable of, I was like moved more to like 70% trust, 30% like.
Well, would you agree that then, for instance, as an example, and there's other examples as well, but that particularly for an example is a way in which AI is able to alleviate you from the tedious, time-consuming aspects of being a teacher, so that you would be able to get that done automatically in rapid time. So you then are freed up to do the actual thing that you want to be doing or need to be doing, is teaching.
Completely. And I can give you an example of that. For instance, kidpreneurship, entrepreneurship that the school has now introduced this year. Our director is very, and he's actually trying to get AI into school. It's very innovative, and there is competition in Siem Reap schools and trying to get more students and teacher parents wanting their kids to the school. And I think entrepreneurship in the beginning I didn't understand it, but I would take the book list they gave us and I'd put the main topic into ChatGPT and say, come up with creative, fun, simple games, which would have taken me a very long time to get into because it's not just entrepreneurship. Like I said, I teach a lot of subjects, quite exhausting by Wednesday. When we do entrepreneurship, I'm already dead on my feet. Whereas now I can focus on, take the game and I can understand it within 5 minutes of what ChatGPT has given me. And I can focus on the core of the subject, core of the lesson to get that in there. So my passion in that way has gone up because I'm spending less energy trying to find ways and means. And I suppose my creativity is not so much in building the game, it's implementing it towards my kids and on an individual basis as well.
So it's taking the core of it and then making it unique and novel and putting your own flair onto it.
Exactly, because I know my kids the way I know my kids. My assistants know my kids the way we know our kids. So of course there are, I wouldn't say limits, but with ChatGPT I like that there's fluidity. Whereas like you said, like I can take a game and I can personalize it towards my students, showing what they're capable of. And maybe not like this, maybe not like that. So I like that it's so fluid and it's so easy to adjust to the students and to the lesson and to the energy. Yeah.
Where would you like to see AI go in terms of teaching?
In terms of teaching, that's a big.
Just more of what you've already experienced with it, or are there other areas you would like to see AI addressing within teaching?
I think that, wow, this is a big one. I think that it would be extremely useful if, for instance, let's take Headway for an example. If there were references in books, in teachers' books, student books, for teachers and students alike, where they can go to a link from the book where it's digital, even if it's not digital, if it's in the actual written book, go to this website. This is an AI.
And this QR code.
Well, yeah, you know, scan and yeah, exactly. And then this is an easy, simple way to understand this grammar concept. Here are some games and everything in a way that you could understand, and also an accessible AI that's easily accessible, that you can ask questions to, that saves your questions, that saves your ideas. I think that it could really, really help. And I kind of wish we had that, because oftentimes, like now I'm using the free ChatGPT. So after a while, your credits run out and then you've been using it for so long that day and you're like, don't use it anymore. Whereas if there's an AI that's set up for you, sort of like a website, that's yours, your information is on there, like Google Classroom, for instance. You can save your lessons, your plans, your tests, your ideas, your notes. We have an AI that knew the way your brain works, because AI gets used to the way that you speak, questions you ask, that can give you suggestions. I think that could really, really help.
And so, what level of importance would you ascribe learning AI as a subject and learning the use of AI and the application of AI in day-to-day life and business?
Wow.
As a subject.
As a subject, I would say because of where AI is going and the potential it has now, I would give it as much importance as learning maths or English. Because these kids will be behind, unless their parents are informed about it. And also, I think that as important as it is to learn AI and how to use it, it's also important for the kids to know the dangers. Yeah. So I do think it is extremely important, especially where things are going. Because the reason these children are learning English is opportunity. So a lot of these kids, they're telling me that they want to go to Australia. I've had a student who, 8 years old, her mom got her a visa. And last parent-teacher meeting said, we're on a plane on Monday. It was Saturday. And I was so happy for her. But that opens the door. And I think that AI incorporated into, especially international schools here, really can open further doors. Whereas even if a student, for instance, doesn't want to go into the AI field in their career, they can use it in their career later on.
Well, it's becoming very commonly said now amongst executives, CEOs, people who are in the top of the game, especially those who are connected in this, that in essence what we are going to see as we move forward is those who know and use AI and are able to understand it and apply it are going to win out in terms of business opportunities, contracts, employment, versus those who don't know how to use AI. So just on that basis alone, it's important to incorporate that into the skill set.
I think so. I really do think so. I do. And my students in the evening can attest to how important AI is to me as well as a teacher. Using it, I've used it. I'm like, hold up, a question I don't know the answer to. AI. I actually use ChatGPT a little bit more than I use regular search engines now.
How many? It won't be so much with the younger crowd, but you have been teaching an evening class with older children. For those older children, to what degree are you aware that they have used AI or not used AI? How prevalent is it?
Perhaps not so much using it, but exposed to it a lot.
Okay.
Because they have phones, they have social medias, and they are seeing it. And I've heard them have conversations in past, even the older kids in my daytime job, when they're walking up and down the corridors, they're making references to certain AI like videos they've seen, or they're saying things like, "Oh, this, that, like that's definitely AI." Even that.
So the media production side of things, images, videos
that they're seeing, that they're like, "That's not real, that's AI." And
social media, just like everywhere else in the world, is huge here.
Yeah.
It's almost more huge here. It's literally a part, an active facet of Khmer culture.
Yeah. It's
social media and I don't know whether I'll leave it to the viewers to decide whether that's a good or a bad thing. But ultimately, the fact is that is the way it is.
Yeah,
and that's primarily how they're becoming exposed to AI.
Social media, because their parents might not know much about it, and then oftentimes parents will let their kids watch YouTube or something, and then an AI video will come up. You know what I mean? So they're seeing it every day.
Right. Okay. Well then, so I think that will wrap it up for today.
Yeah.
So is there any thoughts you'd like to leave with anybody watching and listening to this in regards to teaching and AI and the combination of the two together?
A little bit.
No?
Maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. Floor yours.
Yeah. On the topic of teaching, I've been there were moments where there's been passion, and passion dies. It's because it's kind of all I've ever known is teaching. But AI has started to make it a lot easier to get that passion back, because it's not so much difficulty in thinking about how to teach it. It's more, it's giving me a deeper understanding of what I have to teach. And then it leaves more room for passion. So it has really given me back my time. And it has helped to bring my passion. Sorry, there's some cute kids over there. It's so cute. Just watching the dance. So I must say, like, teaching is definitely an area where AI can be used. And I love coming home from work and listening to you gush about AI and how passionate you are. And it's interesting as well, because it's not something I've sat and like dived into on my own. So being with you has given me a deeper understanding and respect for it. And I also want to say to people, be nice to your AI. Like, say please and thank you, and you can make jokes with your AI, especially dad jokes. ChatGPT loves dad jokes. Yes.
Awesome.
All right.
Well, thank you very much for your time and for your conversation today. And thank you all for watching, if you watched to this point. and wish you all the very best. And hold on for the next episode of a Journey Forward podcast. Thank you very much.